Hey guys, Nick here, and welcome to the Omniverse of Nick and part 3 to What If Goku's Heart Virus Turned Him into a Zombie. Before we get into today's episode, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick, and further acknowledge and support the future of the Omniverse by checking out the Discord, Patreon, and both Google Docs on the homepage, and don't forget to comment future expectations and requests for this year and for the future in the comments section down below. With all that said, let's get started. Last we left off, Vegeta was writhing in pain from fighting the scratch that was done to his eye and the infection of Zombie Goku's scratch before he was sealed by Piccolo beginning to seep into him. And now Piccolo has begun to take notice that after everything was supposedly said and done and everyone was supposedly safe, especially with the virus and the people brought back and contained, this changed that all. When Piccolo stares in shock as he sees that the virus has finally grasped the hold on Vegeta. Vegeta's scar begins to morph into something else over his eye. His eye, where the scar is, turns a complete red along with the other, and parts of his body begin to seep with blood and decayed flesh as the zombie virus seeps in to the prince's veins. And now Piccolo is shocked, thinking that the virus wouldn't have affected Vegeta through a scratch and that he was tough enough to handle it. Or he would be like Piccolo, where he'd be completely immune. He was completely wrong. After all said and done, Vegeta is fully turned into an undead zombie and roars right at Piccolo, preparing to attack. But then he roars an even bigger roar and begins to show powering up. And through all this power up, this monstrous behavior, the prince's dangerous and monstrous attitude and ego in of itself, he begins to roar even louder, and he turns into a Super Saiyan. But he doesn't stop. He keeps on powering up and continuously gets more and more angry, roaring, and then something happens. All the zombie virus begins to seep back into the prince's veins and even starts to expel itself out, because this transformation was not done through the like zombie Goku, where it was natural. This was intentional, because no sooner does Super Saiyan Zombie Vegeta power into the state, unlocking Super Saiyan for the first time in a zombie state, all of the zombie essence expels itself, and Vegeta alone roars, now with more of his own voice, at the top power that he can muster with the Super Saiyan transformation. And then all of the zombie essence is completely obliterated from Vegeta, and even some of it seeps in, like he's absorbing and expelling it at the same time. And then, with one final shout and power up, Vegeta smiles, no longer any scar or zombie essence surrounding him, and it shows that whatever lack of control he had trying to fight off the virus, Vegeta managed, through fighting off the virus within his brain, just moments before it seeped into his complete and total soul, managed to unlock Super Saiyan and destroy the remnants of the virus while seeping some into his own being. Now, I know you guys are like, what the entire F word is up with this? How could Vegeta possibly do this? How could he fight off the virus if he's just like Goku and died pretty much from getting infected with it? But with Vegeta, he got scratched. And as we know, especially from The Walking Dead, there's really no way to stop yourself from getting infected unless it's amputation or it's not a scratch. So, how did this happen? Well, here's something that you guys got to remember. In canon, Vegeta was able to fight off Majin control from Babidi and managed to keep his entire soul intact despite being controlled and manipulated and hurt by Babidi. And even though this is not canon and doesn't count, we're going to incorporate Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 here, when Blue Evolution Vegeta fought off Fuse mind control. So, and for all intents and purposes, with that stuff included and looked into, there is absolutely no way that Vegeta would allow the zombie infection to get to him. He would take his own limbs off before getting infected. The only reason Piccolo did here and didn't just let the virus take a hold of him is because it's way different circumstances, and honestly, the filler arc had so many different problems. And that's just completely out of the question. This is looking into what canonically would happen if a zombie infection took over. And Vegeta would definitely be one to be able to fight this off. If he can fight off mind control from an evil wizard and mind control from a demon, he could definitely fight off a zombie infection before it actually seeped into him. Now, if it were more than just a scratch and it was multiple bites or something, that would be much harder for Vegeta to fight off, if at all. But in the case of this, or just a simple bite, Vegeta would most definitely be able to fight it off, and he has. So, smiling at Piccolo, he begins to speak, and he says to Piccolo he told him he wasn't going to let the infection get to him. The Prince of All Saiyans has now not only mastered the art of shaking off the infection that killed Kakarot, but has also become the prince of not only the Saiyans, but the one true Super Saiyan. And he looks at Piccolo again and gloats about this intentionally and intently. It's weird to say both of those things at once. And is proud to call himself not only the real Super Saiyan in place of Kakarot, but he did what everyone besides the Namek couldn't do. He fought off an infection that could have destroyed their world. And he's not the Prince of Saiyans for nothing. So after that, Piccolo's angry with Vegeta for this overconfidence at such a serious event. But when is he not like this? So they all return to Capsule Corp to figure out what to do from here. And once that's all said and done, Vegeta, Piccolo, and everybody else, they have to figure out what to do now, because Goku dying was one thing, but coming back as an undead creature, getting them the way they did, having to force a Shenron and doing all this, it's hard on all of them. And now this zombie like Goku sealed, they don't know what to do. He wasn't brought back, and they couldn't bring him back in an undead body. So now, none of them know what to do. And Bulma is the most broken about this, just like everybody else. Because Goku's her old friend. And to see, like everyone else, that the fact they can never really bring back Goku because of natural causes or because of this virus and infection, it sets on her and everyone else deeply. Especially considering the fact that that infection could have literally wiped them all out if Kami and Popo hadn't brought the Dragon Balls into the equation. And they're lucky Piccolo was able to fight off Zombie Goku and all the other infectious people before they had to bring him back. Otherwise, they would have all died because they would have had no Dragon Balls. But Kami says there's only one thing that they can do. They have to make sure that what Piccolo did by sealing Zombie Goku away was not for nothing. They need to make sure that he cannot get out. They might not have a way to resurrect him or bring him back to his senses or do anything like that, but they can contain him. And he goes on to say that no matter if there's a way to bring him back or not, they cannot risk it. At this point, they all have to accept the fact that Goku is never coming back. And if that's the case, they have to make sure that this new abomination, which is nowhere close to Goku, cannot get out. They are the protectors of Earth now. And even though he's unsure about it, Piccolo and Vegeta, ironically, are the only two main defenders of Earth now. And honestly, yeah, there's no way to bring back Goku, so the only thing they can do is stop this new abomination version of him, of ever wreaking havoc and doing what he almost did, destroying and infecting all of Earth. Because this was their biggest threat ever. So that containment that Piccolo used for the evil containment wave, that will not be enough. He has to be fully contained. So, Kami takes the evil containment bottle from Piccolo and uses his powers to lock the container deep within the lookout, or he would just lock it and just use his own powers and just put a seal on the container and then put it somewhere in the lookout. Point is, nothing in any way, shape, or form is seeing to the fact that he will get out. And then Kami says, now that that has been taken care of, they must figure out what to do from here, because that Goku can never get out. And they have to make sure that they're ready for any future threats. And he goes on to say that this almost took out their entire planet. And they've really never had a threat like this before until King Piccolo came around and was released. No offense, Piccolo. So, to ensure that this threat doesn't make future threats more of a problem, they have to train and prepare themselves more than ever before to ensure that the next threat that comes around, or if this zombie Goku, which is highly impossible considering what Kami just did, ever gets out, they are ready this time to combat it no matter what. Vegeta just smiles and says that they don't have to worry about anything. He is the real Super Saiyan instead of Kakarot. And they should not worry about anything. Because if that zombie Kakarot ever escapes, or if any threat comes, he'll be the first to get the one and only chance at destroying all of them, including zombie Kakarot. If Kakarot can't come back and fight him, he's already showed he's mastered more than a zombie infection. So they have nothing to worry about. But Kami's annoyed by the show of resistance and arrogance by the prince, and says that there's only one reason why he got out of that, because it was a scratch. But if a new threat were to come along and none of them are properly prepared, or if this zombie Goku escapes and manages to get someone, like, I don't know, more people infected, or someone even stronger, or a better grasp and hold on Vegeta, none of them are safe. No matter what power they achieve, or no matter how prepared they are, they have to be prepared beyond prepared. So Kami says they all need to prepare themselves for years to come if they will be the true protectors of Earth. And they have to ensure that nothing like this ever happens again. So afterwards, when everybody leaves, Kami and Piccolo get to talking. And they talk about everything that just happened, about their past, and reminisce and contemplate where to go from here. And the two of them come upon one single realization. Vegeta's preparation and arrogance, plus Gohan getting stronger and all the humans, it's not enough. They are still severely outmanned and outprotected, because without Goku, that takes away the vast majority of the power and protection that will come from this planet. And Kami doesn't have that long left to live, so he can only do so much as well. So, they both agree. The time for Kami as Guardian of Earth is over. They must fuse together into the ultimate Namekian to ensure that not only Piccolo is powered up for future threats and is truly prepared, but to ensure that arrogance like Vegeta's or escaping of the zombie infection or anything like that does not happen. And to see that Piccolo fully ensures the protection of this planet, even if he has to do it all by himself. So the two merge, and Kamekalo is born. Now, I bet you guys are asking, do we still get Dende as a guardian? Or does Piccolo somehow become the guardian? Or what happens? Will we even have a guardian or Dragon Balls anymore? Well, since this is the main kind of future timeline, that whole ordeal, I'm going to take something that was never put into the history of Trunks because, it had to be dark. And I'm going to incorporate future King Kai to help with finding new Namek and a Guardian. So Dende is still made the Guardian of Earth, except with no instant transmission. We're going to do this a longer and different way, which is done by the point that will work in this story. Let's say after this all happens, future King Kai or Piccolo would get in touch with one another, or someone else would, and this would ensure Dende gets brought to Earth using Porunga. So it really would not be like super, super long. It would be a little bit long for King Kai to find New Namek, but I feel it would be around the same time that Goku took in canon, if not a little bit longer, just a tiny bit. And remember, this is the main timeline, and there's no time travel, so a lot of things are different, and a lot of things are being canonized, messed with, and, etc., etc. New hybrids, techniques, etc. So there's a lot of things that are different here for obvious reasons. And yeah, I just figured I would mention that. Over the time skip, Vegeta trains with Super Saiyan, having unlocked it for the first time and everything, and works around with this and manages to get strong. But then again, it's Vegeta, so it's contemplated whether or not he would actually train, or if he was too cocky to understand that he needs more than just Super Saiyan. But he would ascend. Soon enough, he would get ascended Super Saiyan, or grade 2. But we all know he didn't go to grade 3 because of the drawbacks, which Trunks stupidly did, and then Goku figured it out. So he just gets grade 2, but is right near Mastered Super Saiyan. But there's a reason why he's not going to achieve that. And I'm explain here for the end. Gohan does unlock Super Saiyan thanks to Piccolo and Vegeta, mainly Piccolo, to ensure that he is actually strong enough to defend the Earth. And all of this culminates in what the history of Trunks was truly about. 6 months later, after all the events of the zombies and all the training and all that stuff, 9 miles off of South City, 17 and 18 make their entrance. But are they even a threat in this timeline? Do the androids or any future threats even matter? With the Z Fighters taking so much precaution, so much worry, so much time, and so much attention to future threats, are they even a big deal? Will the androids become good guys? Or maybe future threats become good guys? And will Goku ever be brought back to the land of the living? Or will that empty husk that's zombie Goku be sealed in that jar forever and be the only remnant of Goku that we will ever see in the story ever again? With all that said, stay tuned for part 4.